All right, here we've got a problem dealing with something called a hash table. In other words, an object. We're going to do this problem in JavaScript where we call this an object. We'll start up here. It's a grasshopper problem. It means it should be fairly introductory and easy, called create the rooms. Escape the room. You are creating an escape the room game. The first step is to create a hash table called rooms that contains all of the rooms of the game. There should be at least 3 rooms inside it, each being a hash table with at least 3 properties. And the examples are name, description, and completed. Okay, so let's talk about just a couple of things here. Again, the first thing is, if you see hash table and we're working in JavaScript, we can basically think of that as synonymous with an object. We're going to call it rooms. We see it's already set up here as rooms. That contains the rooms of the game. The requirements are there must be 3 rooms inside it. Each is a hash table, or each is its own object with at least 3 properties. And a property in an object is a key value pair. We'll go over all of that here in turn. Let's start by looking at the tests here. I'm going to open up this window of tests. The first test here says we're going to create a room. Yep, that makes sense. And it says it should have at least 3 rooms. So let's take this next. This is our second test. I'm just going to comment that out. Here's our third test. I'm going to comment that out as well. So we're focusing on one thing at a time. Here's this one test. To run that test, we click on test. And we see that we're failing. Should have at least 3 rooms. Expected false to equal true. Good. That's where we expect to be. We didn't write any code yet, so we're happy to be failing. In order to create our rooms, we need to create 3 objects inside of this one object. So let's make a room. I'm going to call it the dining room. And then we're going to set that equal to another object. And we'll just leave it empty for now. Leave it just like that. And then we're going to make another one called the parlor. And we'll leave that empty. And let's make one more. I'm going to call this the garage. And of course, it doesn't really matter what you call these. You can call them the same as me. You can call them whatever you want. Call them different. Let's click on test again. We should now be passing because we have 3 rooms created, even if we have no information about those rooms. Hey, yep, look, we see that we're now passing. We've created 3 key value pairs. Here is the key, dining room, and here is the value, an empty object. Likewise, key parlor, value, empty object, key garage, value, empty object. With that, let's open our tests again. Whoops, I didn't mean to run the test, but rather to expand them. And let's bring this second part in. It says each room should be an object. I think actually we've already passed this test too, because even though these are very, very simple in that they're empty, they're all objects. So let's run that test. Hey, we did that one just like that. Open our tests again, bring in the third test here. Should contain at least 3 properties or key value pairs per room. So each of our rooms currently have no properties or key value pairs. Let's come in here to dining room and let's set capacity. Again, the problem allows us to really be creative here. We can put whatever we want. I'm going to say we have a dining room with a capacity of 12. We're going to say I think they said we could do something like, is it visited? Let's say this is true. And then we will say, what else did they tell us? We could do name. Ours kind of already have a name in the key. Description. Let's do description. Description. And here we can say, this is a stately dining room with a table set for a feast. Great. Conveniently, we've shown 3 different types of values here, a number, a Boolean, and a string. Now, each room needs to have 3 key value pairs. So if I try and run my test right now, I'm still failing because we don't have enough properties for the room parlor. So I'm going to copy these key value pairs, put them here. And let's just change it for the sake of not being too repetitive. Say it's not visited, it has a capacity for 8, and come play a game in this spooky parlor. That sounds ominous. We'll do dot, dot, dot. Okay, now these first two have 3 key value pairs. And now, yep, sure enough, we see that garage also needs its 3. So again, I will copy and paste these in. And we're going to say this capacity is 10, also not visited. And we're going to say you see a horse and carriage. Do I know how to spell carriage? I think it's like that. Want to take a ride? There we go. We've got a spooky game going on here. And we'll run our test one more time. Hey, now we see that we're all green. We have 3 rooms, dining room, parlor, garage. Each room is an object. Yep, this is an object, and this is an object, and this is an object. And each of those objects contains at least 3 properties. We could experiment with adding something like is clean. Not sure what that would even mean in this game. And we could say true. Now we've added a 4th property here, or a 4th key value pair, but it just says it has to have at least 3. So we should see that that doesn't have any effect on our test passing. Yep, and we're good. Okay, with that, we'll see we've passed all the tests. We'll click on attempt, and we're good to go. Great, we'll just go ahead and submit that, and we've finished our room building. Here is someone else's example: bedroom, bathroom, kitchen, and they've got 3 properties for each one. Again, you have some ability to be creative here. Here's a little bit of a different thing with a constructor. That we won't go into that right now, though it's great. And here's somebody who's really done even more with their rooms and added quite a bit. But this is basically what we need and pretty much what we did. All right, great. Thanks so much. I'll see you in the next video.